The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
The Jets made all their new players available to the media earlier today. What were the biggest takeaways from what they had to say? We're going to discuss that and much more in today's Jake Asman Show. So let's hit it and get it started.
Man, our Jets are primed for a historic season.
I'm kind of hungry, low-key. I'll take like a bite or something. Do I have to rate it? Like, why not? It's good. This one got the deal sign right here.
We bleed Jets green each and every day. This is not the same old Jets. We have Garrett Wilson. Let's go.
We have Bruce Hall.
Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinnen Williams. The Jets bandwagon is loaded. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show.
Here we go, Jet fans. Welcome in. It is time to talk about what the Jets' new players had to say to the media earlier today. If you're watching live, please hit the like button. If you're not watching live, please still hit the like button. And, of course, always subscribe to this channel for daily New York Jets content. With that being said, let's play you some clips, some audio from what occurred earlier today. So the Jets basically had all their new players available over Zoom. And we'll start with arguably their biggest free agent signing, Tyron Smith. This was Tyron explaining why he chose to sign with the New York Jets.
I saw that, what they can do as far as the team is, and everybody wants to win as any other team does. But I just feel like they have all the pieces together right now, and they can, the final pieces in this offseason to produce, a team that could go all the way. I've played against Aaron, throughout my career a couple times, and I know what kind of quarterback he is. I know what he can do if you just give him a little bit of time, and I'm just there, do my best to give him that time.
Makes sense. You want to win? You have a chance to win when you have a Hall of Fame quarterback. So, Tyrod, I'm telling you, Aaron Rodgers had a lot to do with why he signed with the Jets. Now, I found it interesting, though, that they asked him about other teams in on him, and he said it was really between the Jets and the Cowboys. And that once it was clear the Cowboys weren't going to bring him back, he felt like he was definitely going to be a Jet. So, based on that answer, there's a lot of teams that just said, we're good on Tyron Smith. I think a lot of teams thought that he was going to get way more money and then probably were shocked at the contract when it came out. I mean, this contract is a deal that if I'm a Cowboys fan, I would be furious that our team did not bring him back. How do we let a forever player out of our building on a deal for $6.5 million that's based in incentives, based on playing time? He played 13 games last year. He's healthy going into this offseason, which is huge. So I think it's really surprising that the Jets got Tyron on the contract they did. There's obviously risk involved in it. We understand that. But would you rather Tyron Smith on a one-year deal or overpaying Jonah Williams for $15 million per year? Paying big money to Trent Brown. Spending big money on like Robert Hunt to play guard and then needing to use that 10th pick no matter what on a rookie tackle. To me, there was risk involved in any decision the Jets made there, and Tyron Smith is worth the risk. Because when he plays, a la what he did last year, he's still one of the best tackles in the league. He was second-team All-Pro. I thought this was an important answer from Tyron Smith. He was asked physically how he currently feels, and if the Jets have intimated to him what the practice plan will be for Tyron Smith.
Physically, I feel great. Coming off the season last year with no injury, I could go full tilt for offseason. And honestly, wherever we decide to come up with a program for here and in New York, that's what we decide. But it's not going to be always to be the same. So we'll sit down and come up with a plan for ourselves. What's best for for me and the team.
So look, you hear that from Tyron Smith, and that's encouraging. If I'm the Jets, if he doesn't practice, he doesn't practice. It is what it is, you know? If him only maybe going through the walkthrough once a week is all he does in practice, fine. Keep him on the field. Because let's call it for what it is. Let's say Tyron Smith's 80% of what he once was. That's 100% better than any left tackle the Jets have had since the Brickashaw Ferguson. That's how good Tyron Smith is when he plays. I mean, he's that special. And look, with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, you don't need 5 All-Pros. You just need guys that play that are solid. Aaron will get the ball out quick. Aaron will adjust protections if need be. You just need guys that play. So whatever they got to do to keep Tyron Smith on the field, you do it. And obviously, you still add more depth along your offensive line. It's a no-brainer. You don't just say, we're good. Let's go get Brock Bowers now. Let's go take a receiver. You address the offensive line again in the draft. Even if it's not in the first round, you still have a 3rd-round pick. And you continue to explore the veteran options out there. I'm a fan of the idea of re-signing Connor McGovern. I am in favor of bringing in David Bakhtiari on a 1-year deal. If Tyron Smith got $6.5 million guaranteed, Bakhtiari, whose last 3 years include a total of 13 games played, Bakhtiari is probably getting $2 or $3 million guaranteed with incentives. I'd sign him. He probably wants to go somewhere that gives him a chance to start. I don't think that's realistic. The Jets give him a chance to likely play because we really think Tyron's making it through a full year. No way. So the Jets aren't done upgrading the O-line and adding reinforcements, but what they've done so far is obviously tremendous. Speaking of the O-line, we'll go in order here, positions. Let's hear from Morgan Moses. Former Jet, now back with the Jets. This comment he made about the injury he played through last year is shocking.
Definitely, man. I actually tore my pec week 4, which was pretty fun, and I played the whole season with it, and just learned how to manage through it and everything like that. And I had surgery about 6 weeks ago, sorry. But I'm feeling great. I'm moving around. I'm working out, getting back in shape and things like that. And so I look forward to just getting around the guys and obviously doing the things that I need to do to get back on the field and prepare myself the way I need to. And obviously this is not my first rodeo with having surgery and things like that. So, I like the fact that I was able to, pretty much go through the whole season with that injury and play at a high level. So I look forward to having 2 arms this year. So it's been a fun ride.
That's just crazy. I look forward to having 2 arms this year. Morgan Moses, by the way, was still a very good tackle this past year, playing with that injury. A torn pec. That's crazy. I see DeAndre say, don't he look like Swagoo from ESPN? He does look like Marcus Spears a little bit. I do see that. Who's a great guy, by the way. I've had him on my radio show in the past. But look, Morgan Moses is solid as they come, man. High character guy. He's someone that you want on your team. It's one of the best moves Douglas made bringing him in the first place when they signed him in June of 2021 because the cap went down post-pandemic season and he was a cap casualty and the Jets had the space to add him. And thank God they did because Becton goes down in the first half of the season that year and Morgan Moses starts all year at right tackle and was excellent and got himself paid by the Ravens as a starter. And for the Jets, he's under contract for 1 year. He's going to be healthy. He's been an Ironman in his career. Even last year, he played in all these games despite the pec injury that early in the season. I think you got to love what you heard there from the Jets' new right tackle. Here's more from Morgan Moses. This is Morgan Moses talking about playing with his other tackle mate, Tyron Smith.
Obviously I got to see him play a lot closely when I was in Washington and he was in Dallas. So, obviously the makeup of his career has been amazing. The things he's done through his career and the things he's still doing, obviously to come back this year and play at a high level. For me, I'm always in the learning curve. I feel like I can always get better. I can always learn different tricks. And so I look forward to just picking his brain, because he's done it at a high level for so long. And I just look forward to pairing with him and learning what I can from him. And obviously, hopefully he can learn a little bit from me. But at the end of the day, man, we bookends, and that's something special when you have booking tackles. And so I look forward to pairing with them and just getting to work.
It's the best tackle duo the Jets have had in years. Got to keep Tyron Smith on the field. Morgan Moses is going to play. He's an Ironman. Now, anyone could get hurt in football. We understand that, but you're not necessarily worried about him. You're worried about Tyron Smith, who's got a history of not playing a full season. If you're tuned in live right now, hit the like button. We're discussing the key takeaways from the Jets players who spoke over Zoom earlier today. All their new free agent and trade acquisitions basically have spoken within the last 24 hours. Mike Williams spoke yesterday, actually from the Jets facility, but today over Zoom, Tyrod Taylor spoke, Tyron Smith spoke, John Simpson spoke, and obviously Morgan Moses spoke, who we just played. Speaking of John Simpson, this was Morgan Moses on once again playing with his former and now current, once again, teammate.
A day one opening at left guard with the Ravens and training camp, man. Day one, he took that head on, and you could tell that was his job from day one. And it turned out to be an amazing season for him. And I'm excited for him to be able to, obviously he called me as being his big bro. He called me. He's like, man, tell me about the Jets. And I was like, bro, you're going to love it there, bro. You're going to love it. And so being able to have a guy that you obviously know, going through the, the free agency portal and all those things, I look forward to, obviously lacing up the cleats and that and putting on the helmets and shoulder pads with them again. So I look forward to it.
By the way, how about Morgan Moses telling you how much he enjoyed being a Jet the first time around, and how before Morgan Moses even knew he was being traded to the Jets, he was telling John Simpson that he's going to love it. Moses also spoke glowingly of Robert Saleh, and a big reason why he was excited to come back to the Jets was because of Saleh. So Saleh's a player's coach. He's got to win this year. We all understand that, but he's got the respect of all the guys in that locker room. Moses there was talking about John Simpson, the new left guard for the New York Jets. Here's John Simpson talking about Morgan Moses.
He actually he called me. He was like, "How you feel about the Jets, man?" And I was like, they're in there, they're in the mix. And so after I made the decision to come here, I was like, I called him and I was like, bro, like, tell me what it's like you said. And he gave me all the rundown and everything. And like you said, not too much long after, he was up there with me. And I called him. I was in the barbershop. I called him and I was like, bro, like, why didn't he say nothing when we talked last night? Like the other night, he was like, bro, I didn't know. So I think it's cool, man. It's gonna be fun.
Life comes at you fast in the NFL. Morgan Moses said that he had texted Derrick Henry the day before he got traded to the Jets and welcomed Derrick Henry to the team, and then he got traded to the Jets the next day. So crazy turnaround for him. But I like John Simpson. I think it's an under-the-radar move. Still just 26, ascending player, durable, really good in the run game. We played the clip last week of Chris Long shouting out Simpson on his podcast when he studied the film of the Ravens O-line. You like that the Jets have plucked offensive linemen from teams that have really good O-lines. That's a positive. And I like the Simpson signing. I think it's a good move. So that's the offensive line that we have covered, a.k.a. the nickname, the Secret Service for the upcoming season. They got to protect QB1, baby. Vice President Aaron Rodgers. Now let's get to the backup quarterback, because finally the New York Jets have themselves a backup, because I don't know if you guys saw this earlier, but breaking news, Zach Wilson was finally freaking traded. So the saga's over. Zach Wilson is now a member of the New York Yankees. I don't believe he'll make the opening day roster. He'll probably have to start in the minor leagues. Maybe he could be at single A. Maybe he could get to triple A by the end of the season. But the Jets now have a backup in Tyrod, and Zach Wilson's been traded to the New York Yankees. How does this even happen, by the way? How do you put up a picture of Zach Wilson instead of, if I'm reading the name right there, Jamaj Jones? Just absurd. But anyway, let's actually hear from the Jets' new backup quarterback, Tyrod Taylor. The only thing in common between Tyrod Taylor and Zach Wilson is that I'm pretty sure they're both going to wear number 2 with the Jets. Here's Tyrod on life as a backup quarterback.
Than I can ever remember with how many played. You've been a starter, backup in this league. Obviously, players want to play, but how do you view that role as the backup quarterback and kind of what your role is in that job?
It's challenging. Actually, I was talking to my quarterback coach while I was training earlier about something similar. But I think it takes a special person to be able to learn in this league without getting the reps. And I think last year some scenarios played out for some guys and some didn't. And it's just tough as a backup. Many factors go into it, but I've always approached my job and the way that I go about my way of work as if I'm the starter, and I think that keeps me in it mentally as well as physically. I still train each and every day as if I'm training to be able to go out and perform at a high level on Sunday. So there's a lot of factors that play into the success that you have when going in there and getting the calls, but you have to be ready for it. And I think that over my career, I've shown that when the opportunity presented itself, that I've been able to go out and play at a high level.
What is the toughest thing about being a backup quarterback?
Not getting the reps throughout the week. I've been in different scenarios or different teams where sometimes a backup quarterback gets reps and then some doesn't. And I think not getting the timing of the throws with certain guys and then getting on the field can be challenging at times. But like I said, it takes a special person to be able to learn and to still grow that game while not being able to get those physical reps.
I like that from Tyrod. You got to be smart to be in the league as long as he's been in the league. Because think about it. It's not like Tyrod Taylor was a top draft pick. Like if Sam Darnold wants to, he could be a backup for probably 10-plus years because people are always going to bet on his talent. Tyrod Taylor was a mid-round pick. And he's solid, man. Tyrod Taylor in his career, I think, is a 500 quarterback. For a backup, that is as good as it gets. He's taken a team to the playoffs before. He was solid with the Giants last year. The only thing with Tyrod is he gets hurt a lot, but half the injuries he has suffered have come against the Jets, who now can't hit him at practice. So, look, they did the best they could bringing him in. You weren't going to get Minshew. You weren't going to get Brissett when it was clear they were going to sign with teams that gave them a legitimate opportunity to still start in the NFL, compete for a starting job. So, Tyrod Taylor is a very, very good signing by this team. And also, there's a connection between him and the Jets' new star receiver. Tyrod was with the Chargers with Mike Williams. Here's Tyrod talking about that.
Freak athlete. I've seen him do some crazy things in practice as well as in games. You hear often in the league about 50-50 balls, and we looked at it for him 80-20 because he came down with most of them. So I'm a big fan of Mike's. Glad to be back on the field with him again.
80-20 balls. Not too shabby. That's what this offense desperately, desperately needed. So, I'm excited. I think you got to be encouraged for sure by what has transpired this offseason. One more clip that we will play, and then we'll get to some super chats. They'll cut the line, and we'll get to your calls on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline as well. This was from yesterday. Mike Williams, we played you the cut about why he signed with the Jets. He wanted to play with Rodgers, play next to Garrett Wilson. Thinks the team's close to winning. But they also asked him, hey, when did you find out about this whole breakfast sandwich thing from our guy, NYJ Matt?
Mike, at what point did you hear about the breakfast sandwich that was waiting for you?
I actually heard about it on Twitter like a couple of days before. He said he was going to send it to the facility the night before, and then I guess he found out that I was flying in the next day. So I guess he got it situated to send it. But, yeah, the sandwich was actually pretty good, though, for real.
He was plugged into the saga. He was following NYJ Matt on Twitter. He knew what was coming. For those who missed it, by the way, we had NYJ Matt on the show yesterday morning. So go back and you could watch the full interview I did with him recapping the entire saga because NYJ Matt is awesome. And obviously, it was a great story that culminated with the Jets finally landing a big time wide receiver, too, to complement Garrett Wilson. And look at this offensive core, man. Rodgers, Brees, Garrett, Mike Williams. Don't sleep on Tyler Conklin, who I think is criminally underrated. Revamped offensive line. It's been a good offseason so far. By the way, Javon Kinlaw is also speaking, and he said that Robert Saleh basically had a lot to do with why he was drafted in 2020 and why he wanted to come to the Jets because he has faith in Saleh and Aaron Wycott, Jets defensive line coach. Kinlaw could end up being a really good signing, especially now that we know the details of his contract. It's not 1 year, 7.25. It's spread out. So the cap hits minimum. With the cap hit going up every year, I understand why the Jets did it. But pretty good looking offseason so far. Best available backup quarterback, check. Best available free agent offensive lineman, check. Best available traded offensive lineman. Has there been an O lineman that's been better that's been traded this offseason than Morgan Moses? I can't think of any. I can't even think of that many trades involving an offensive lineman at all this offseason, if any. So that's a great job by this general manager getting Moses back. And one of the better wide receivers available on the open market in Mike Williams. You weren't going to be able to get Evans. He wasn't a free agent. You weren't going to be able to get Pittman. He wasn't a free agent. The Jets were never going to pay Calvin Ridley $90 million. As far as the options that were available, I mean, we could debate Mike Williams versus Tyler Boyd, but Mike Williams is better than Odell or Josh Reynolds or Gabe Davis keep going. So you got to like what you've seen so far from the Jets. And then the debate in the draft's now going to rage on. The Bauer boys want Brock. The O-line ogres want a trench player. Some people want to trade up for Marvin or Neighbors. It's going to be a fun couple of weeks. Today's Jake Asman Show is presented by our friends at Roan Apparel. Jet fans, upgrade your closet with some of Roan's finest apparel. We're talking button-down shirts, polo shirts, quarter zips, pants, t-shirts, shorts. They have quality clothing, all types of clothing for you. Promo code ASMAN at checkout, and you will save 20%. I encourage all my listeners to go to roan.com and just see the website. See their clothing for yourself. See the different colors, sizes, designs they have. They have hoodies. They have literally everything you could think of to improve your closet. Casual wear, going out wear. If you're going to the golf course. I love Roan. I'm excited to partner with them on the show. Roan.com/Asman. Promo code Asman at checkout, and you get 20% off. Let's get to your calls and your super chats as well. Appreciate everyone tuned in. Please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Big Fella starts us off. Do you have the clip of Kinlaw saying he eats snake? I don't have that clip handy, but I will work on getting that for a future show. I wanted to talk about the serious stuff, but that is a pretty wild quote I saw from the Jets' new defensive tackle. Big Fella says, don't sleep on Fotu. Guy is good. Hey, I hope he's the next Sione Puha. All right? Let's hope. When it comes to defensive line players, you trust the Jets coaching staff to identify guys they see as scheme fits. They have a history of doing it. So let's hope. Let's hope. To your calls we go. Anthony is first up on our show. Hello, Anthony.
Jake, good to see you again.
What's up, Anthony?
Watch you every day. Met you a bunch of times. And this offseason so far reminds me of that quote from The Godfather. You know, just when I think I'm out, they pull me back in. And I'm back in.
I know. They're giving us hope again, Anthony.
Yes.
They're giving us hope.
They're giving us hope. But here's the thing. You know, obviously as Jet fans, we're mostly pessimists. You know what I like about this also? Let's just say, God forbid, this doesn't work out. All these one-year deals, if we had to tear it down, and again, I don't want to even manifest it and put it out there, but if it doesn't work out next year, let's just say, God forbid, something comes up, Aaron Rodgers gets hurt again, or just, whatever. We get our typical Jet luck. We could extend the young guys. We could do a quick turnaround, a quick rebuild, because these one-year contracts are incredible. Signing Calvin Ridley to a 3-year deal, that could have put us in cap, for the next how many years, things like that. I think JD's doing a great job. I'm back in. You got me watching you every day again, multiple times, Jake. You're the best. And I'm, like I said, I just can't wait for the draft. My 2 cents, we got to go OT. You got to get a tackle. Best case scenario, he doesn't start and he learns. Worst case scenario, we have a stud that's there to plug in that hole. So we're back, baby. Do it.
A great call, Anthony. I appreciate it. I'm with you, man. I'm pro take the offensive tackle as well. I think best case is you could do it in a trade down, but you're not going to sit here and have me blasting Joe Douglas for not trading back, because I think ideally he'd like to, but he's not just going to trade back for the sake of trading back. You need a trade partner, and I think that's important. So, look, they have options, man. The Bauer debate's going to rage on. All right, and like I see the appeal. I was watching some Bauer's film earlier. I get it. All right, I was studying the tape. I was going through it. He is a dynamic weapon. He can line up all over the field. And his ability to break tackles and make guys miss, yeah, he'd be a really, really fun player. But I still lean with offensive line being so important for the Jets in 2024 and beyond that, because Tyron Smith's on a 1-year deal, as is Morgan Moses. So you're going to need to think about your long-term future at the tackle spot. And it helps you win this year, because if, God forbid, Tyron Smith does get hurt or Morgan Moses does get hurt, you're covered. But, man, I mean, yeah, you look at Bowers here breaking tackles, as being the fastest player on the field against safeties and corners. It's exciting. I get it. I do see the appeal. Back to the calls we go. Raphael is up next. What's going on, Raphael?
How you doing, Jake? The one thing I want to ask you is that how are you feeling about the Jets going after Jordan Travis in the 4th round?
I don't know if they take him that high, Raphael. We can't rule it out, though, right? They got 2 4th-round picks. He's certainly an intriguing day 3
Because I was talking. Listen to this. I was talking to Richie, and he was talking about that, and Michael Larry is talking about it right now. But here's one more thing I want to say before I go. Why the hell did they trade Zach Wilson to the Yankees?
It's a great question. It's a great question, my man. I don't think anyone knows. How does this, for those just tuning in, how does this even happen? So Yankees, Braves, spring training game, wherever Atlanta plays. I think they're at like Disney World. Is their like spring training field? And one of the Yankees minor league players is up to bat, and Zach Wilson's face is on the graphic. How does that even happen? Honestly, if the Yankees want Zach Wilson, please take him. Do the Jets get to clear his cap number, though? That's what I want to know. These are the questions that I have. But, man, I'm not sure. I don't know how that happens. Jeremy's watching, a.k.a. Jets Chaos. He says Jake's got 80-20 balls. Jeremy?
They thought by bringing Aaron Rodgers in, that would make things better. It has made things worse.
Go harass Leaf Shriver again. NY Jets, Florida, next up. What's up, NY Jets?
Hey, Jake, good afternoon. Can I take care of a couple of orders of business first, if you don't mind? I officially request a Lane Kerner call today. He's been in the chat. We need to hear from Lane. Also, you did catch me with a Buccaneer jersey on once, but I wanted to show you a picture quick of me and my wife and my daughter when she was born. So I was in actual Jets garb, if you can see that real quick.
Wow.
16 years ago. So I still have the same hoodie. So, but now what when you looked at Brock Bowers, like what did you see? I mean, I know you see what you see, which is the freakish athleticism. You probably saw his blocking ability in the running game, mismatching. I mean, did you see any of the one-handed catches? I mean, the guy's got amazing athletic talent, but I'll ask
Yeah,
you what
well,
thoughts are.
he's clearly a gifted athlete. I just worry about like taking a guy that high because for whatever reason, like we talk about how hard it is to evaluate quarterbacks in the NFL draft. Tight ends not much better. Like NFL teams have not figured out how to properly evaluate tight ends either. Look at the amount of guys that are first round picks that don't pan out. Whereas the best tight ends in the league, Kittle, Kelsey, these guys weren't first round picks. Mark Andrews wasn't a first round pick, I don't believe. That's my big issue with this. It's like it sounds nice, but so did Kyle Pitts, who's been okay so far. You know.
Right, right. No, I get it, but I kind of see Brock Bowers as more of a hybrid. I could see the almost like he's kind of a wide receiver when you really look at him, but he's got the size too. So I don't really look at him as a true tight end when I see him. To me, and I know it doesn't always translate to a great player, but it's going to be it's going to be very interesting because we have so many different ways we can go in the draft. So it's interesting. I did see Arizona is open for business at number 4. The GM of Arizona basically said that he's open to trade out of 4, which may make number 5, not as valuable as a trade up for a quarterback. Let's say that.
Every team though is going to tell you they're open for business. I
That's
think
true.
Arizona is trying to drive up the price for Minnesota to move up to 4 because Minnesota's coming up for a quarterback. So I think you put that out there. Oh, we're open. You try and make Minnesota nervous and say, let's just make the deal now. We'll give you our extra picks, like what the Jets did when they got nervous on St. Patrick's Day in 2018 when they traded up from 6-3 for Darnold, not knowing who they were going to draft. It turned out to be Darnold, but we didn't know that at the time. Neither did the Jets.
Right. That's all I got today, Jake. It's watching the You watching the tournament a little bit? I'm looking for some kind of upsets a little. You got it up there.
I got the YouTube TV 4 games on at once to my right now.
I have to flip between the 4 games. But Lane Kerner, if you're out there, call in. We need a Lane call today to break some of the monotony of the offseason. Thanks, Jake.
You got it, man. NY Jets Florida calling for the Lane train, sounding the alarms. I love it. We had an upset though earlier, right? Duquesne beat BYU. I had that one in our bracket. By the way, I guess I could announce my Final 4 now that the brackets have locked for the Jake Asman Show Bracket Madness. All right. So I have University of Houston winning the whole thing. Kelvin Sampson's going to get himself a national title. And I want to make sure I get my exact Final 4 right here. I'm in 12th place so far in our league. Not bad. I have UConn, UNC, Houston, and Tennessee. And I have Houston over UConn in the final. Those are my Final 4 picks. Good luck to everyone in the Jake Asman Show Bracket Challenge. More of your calls right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Ricky NY up next. What's up, Ricky?
Hey, what's happening, Jake? Good stuff hearing from all of our new players. And you know what? So far, we've filled every need that I wanted them to fill so far this offseason. As long as we can go into that draft and get another weapon and solidify that offensive line, I'll be a happy guy. And glad to hear we're going to see Jordan Travis soon too. And man, I'm liking all the hype that's building for that. Gary's probably somewhere pulling his hair out. I mean, he's not Jameis Winston, but I guarantee you, if we draft Jordan Travis, Gary, I'm going to get you one of these in green and white, buddy, on the house. Looking forward to this year. Go Jets.
Ricky, you're the man. Look, I have no issue with day 3 Flyer and Jordan Travis. Why not? Ricky loves it. I have no problem with it. Hater says, Jake, my brother, got to hook up Moses with Copper Johns. Yeah, that Morgan Moses beard looking nice. I could get it to look even nicer if he starts using some Copper Johns beard oil. Let me tell you. All right. CopperJohnsBeard.com. And while you're there, get a discount on any of their products with the promo code Jake20. How about that? Super Chat just came in here from the big fella. I bet Jamaz Jones doesn't run backwards. Hopefully I'm saying the guy's name right. This, of course, in reference to Zach Wilson being traded to the Yankees somehow. Still trying to figure that one out. I mean, maybe Zach Wilson would be a good pitcher. He's got a cannon of an arm. I don't know. He's a good athlete. He could be a shortstop. Let's go to Nate. He's up next. Hello, Nate.
What's going on, Jake? It's been a while since I called in.
Nate, where you been, man?
It's just the way the season ended. I kind of checked out, but you know what? My Jets, they pulled me back in, man. The offseason.
You're not wrong, Nate. My viewership the last 2 months. So I get it.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I was still checking in to the Jake Asman show. I just didn't want to call in. I just didn't. But they pulled us back in, man. They made some good. They made a good trade. Made some good acquisitions. Really, I'm just all eyes on the draft now. I think they need to shore up maybe a little bit more depth on the O-line there. Whether they do that in free agency or the draft, it doesn't really matter to me, but all eyes are on the draft for me now. And anybody that's ever had Kyle Pitts on their fantasy team, you might be a little skeptical about Brock Bowers at 10. I know the highlights have been great, but Kyle Pitts highlights were fantastic too. So ideally, I'd like to see them go wide receiver there, if not tackle. I've heard people say they want to go all in this year, and I agree with that. But you know, if the Jets can be good for a couple years, I'm into that. That's something I'm interested in. But obviously, this season has a lot more built in, a lot of excitement. I'm really excited for the season to start. As for Zach Wilson, I'm hoping he can pitch because the Yankees need a fifth starter. He can just eat some innings. I'll be happy with that. But that's it for me, Jake. Good to see you.
Nate, call back more, man. Good to hear from you. Good to hear from you. Yankees certainly could use a fit starter. I'd like them to sign Montgomery after it was reported last night they're in talks again with him. Look, on that note, though, like, I want the Jets to be good for more than just 1 year as well, but you gotta win this year to get multiple years, right? This regime needs to win this year, right? And also, like, you're only going to be good for as long as Rodgers is your quarterback. Like, obviously, you want some sort of succession plan, but, like, the Jets can never find a franchise quarterback, so they have one for this, like, 2-year window, let's say, at least. Take advantage of it. But, like, people are talking about, trade up, get the weapon, go all in. I think you could make yourself a better team, you could argue, by staying at 10 and taking the best offensive lineman. Or if you can moving back a couple spots, getting another pick that can make you better, and taking an offensive lineman and then a receiver in the second round or third round. I think that might make you a better team. Whereas people are like, go get the weapon. But, okay, but then what do you do if Tyron Smith breaks down or AVT gets hurt again? What do you do? Carter Warren ready to come in and start? Because that's what's happening right now. I mean, maybe they sign Bakhtiari, but he's a huge risk too. I don't even know if he can pass physical. And like I think it was Buffalo Jeff Vander made this point. It's well said. The less Rodgers gets hit, the more likely he is going to want to come back for next year as well. He says he wants to play 2, 3, 4 more years. What if he gets hurt again this year? Then he's probably going to be like, why am I doing this? What is it worth it? So the more you keep him protected, the more likely he is to give you a third season as a Jet, second season actually playing. That matters too. Coach Salo is watching the show. Says it's a pleasure to have you on the team, Tyrod. Looking forward to coaching you up. Coach, we played a clip of Tyrod. He actually wasn't on the show. Appreciate you being tuned in. Dave writes in, biggest takeaway, so obvious, the Jets now have a quality offensive line to protect Rodgers. Yes, the New York Jets now have the Secret Service in place to protect Vice President Aaron Rodgers. That's the takeaway. Hater says, if John Simpson's the worst on the Jets O-line, we golden. Only 26. If he continues to progress, watch out. Yeah, if he's your worst offensive lineman, you got a damn good line. Because Simpson had a good season last year. They have a good offensive line on paper. Got to stay healthy. More of your calls right now. Ladies and gentlemen, he called in earlier. He's calling in again. Bobby Midnight. Hello, Bobby.
Hi, how you doing, Jake?
I'm good, Bobby. How
I
are you?
think the first thing that MetLife has to do for the Jets and Giants is to get natural grass in there.
Agreed.
Because remember how Aaron Rodgers got hurt and everybody else this year?
I
So
forgot,
that's-
Bobby. How did he get hurt?
Because that stupid turf.
Yeah.
Didn't get his foot stuck in the thing. Turf thing. That stupid turf. And I do like that shirt that you have. That I like that dark blue shirt.
The Roan Apparel shirt?
Yes, I want to get that.
Bobby, use my code. You'll get a discount.
That's the one I want to get, the dark blue one. Yes.
Yep.
And then for the basketball, I took North Carolina over Houston. Yep. And then was happy that BYU lost. I got that upset right there.
There you go.
And then I'm going for one for tomorrow, Vermont over Duke. That's
Bobby,
another-
I'm rooting for Vermont just for you because I know you're in that area. Love it. Let's go to Gary, who's up next on our show. Hello, Gary.
What up, Jake?
You got back in time. I was just going to go to you and then cut you off real quick as a bit, but you got back too quick.
I was just in the other room. My bad. I want to kind of because I love Ricky NY. I think he's an awesome Jets fan. So I just want to kind of clarify my position on Jordan Travis. I like Jordan.
Can I just say this? I'll let you clarify your position, but I'm not doing a month of this. All right, we're not doing another like the Jameis Winston week we had on the channel because of you. Like, clarify your position. He's a day 3 quarterback, and we all can move forward with our lives.
We're gonna get to Winston a little bit, but for now,
no, we're not.
Is Jameis Winston Ricky? Is Jameis Winston not as much a Seminole as Jordan Travis is? Or am I missing something? Because Winston won a national championship there, but okay. I don't hate Jordan Travis. I don't think Jordan Travis sucks. If I was drafting a cheerleader, I would draft Jordan Travis. I think he's a really good guy. Florida State's offense clearly fell apart as soon as he got hurt. The moment he got hurt, they couldn't move the ball at all. It looked like the Jets offense with Zach Wilson, right? I'm not saying he sucks. I think he was an excellent college quarterback. Before he got hurt, he was my Heisman vote. And he got hurt, and obviously it didn't go to him. He's just not an NFL quarterback. There's nothing there that makes me think that he can play at the next level. I don't think he sucks. I don't hate him. I'm not going to.
Let me ask you this. How did you feel about Brock Purdy? Who knows?
Brock Purdy. Okay. Brock Purdy, that's the wrong guy because he shredded the Longhorns along with Breece Hall twice. No, I didn't think he was going to be a starting NFL quarterback. But you could look at Brock Purdy and say, okay, he's undersized. He might lack some NFL talent, arm strength, things like that. But he was really good in college. I would have never guessed this. I would have never guessed Brock Purdy would be a franchise quarterback for sure. That would have been the furthest thing from my mind. But you could see he had some ability, right? It's just he wasn't athletic. He wasn't that strong. He wasn't that big. He didn't have an NFL arm. His tangibles really weren't that good in Brock Purdy. Jordan Travis is a great athlete. His intermediate stuff is no good. He holds on to the ball too long. It's just he's a college quarterback. He'll get a chance in the NFL. He'll be on an NFL roster next year. I don't know if he'll ever play, but he'll get a shot. There are better guys you can pick on day 3 than Jordan Travis. That's my only point about Jordan Travis, is there are better guys that you can pick. Michael
Maybe,
Pratt.
but we don't know. My point is it's a crapshoot. Brock Purdy was thought to be a UDFA guy. It was amazing he was even the last pick in the draft. Like, you don't know. And also, you used the wrong term when you described Purdy. You said he doesn't have intangibles. No, he doesn't have as good of athletic traits as the top guys. He has the intangibles, which is what I
meant to say
Jordan Travis also has
he
too.
doesn't have the tangible stuff, the NFL arm, the size, the strength, the rocket on the intermediate stuff. He doesn't have any of that stuff. What he has,
Brady, he was a 6th round pick. Like, you never know.
Yeah, but Brady's got an NFL arm. Brady's got a very good NFL arm.
His arm got better as he developed his arm because
that's definitely true. That's definitely true. That's for sure true. Yeah, and again, no one would have guessed Brady either, right? Like, I didn't even know who the hell Tom Brady was, honestly, when they drafted him. I didn't know who that was. I'm not gonna lie. And then he turned out to be the best quarterback ever. And I get the day 3 is a crapshoot. So why wouldn't you take the guy in day 3 with the highest upside, which is Joe Milton? I'm not saying Joe Milton is going to be good. Joe Milton might suck, right? Like, that's a distinct possibility that he's awful. There's also a distinct possibility that he's very good, right? And like, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a home run or a strikeout. Like Sam Hartman, I think Sam Hartman may have a 10-year career as a backup quarterback, a third-string quarterback. That's not really what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a guy who can start, right? Like, if I miss, I miss. But I'd rather hit a grand slam or strike out than hit a little sacrifice bunt. Like, that's
Nobody knows. That's the problem. Nobody knows. Like, Joe Milton can throw the ball 80 yards. That doesn't mean he's a good quarterback. Yeah, he's got the physical traits, but we don't know. Jordan Travis, maybe he doesn't have the strongest arm, but if he's really, really smart and could process quick, he could be an effective NFL quarterback. And also, I get your thought process, like swinging for the home run. The Jets also need a long-term backup too, by the way. Nothing wrong with that. Like, a long-term backup they could develop. That's not a bad thing. But I can't do it, Gary. I can't do a month of Jordan Travis. He's a day 3 quarterback pick. So is Joe Milton. Who cares? We got to get you into like professional football scouting if you care this much about day 3 quarterbacks, man. My friend Alex Barth, who does sports radio in Boston, had a line about Joe Milton he said yesterday that I saw. He's like, if you ask Joe Milton to throw it 80 yards, he'll throw it 80 yards. If you ask Joe Milton to throw it 10 yards, he'll throw it 80 yards. I thought that was funny. Jets Chaos has math for us. 3.6% of quarterbacks taken after the second round become relevant since 2000. Move on. I mean, it's a low number, man. It's a crapshoot. I think there's some intrigue with Travis because he probably would be higher than wherever he ends up getting picked if he didn't get hurt. So there's like value in the selection of him. Anyone else have a non-Jordan Travis take? God. Can't do it. It's too tough. This play? I had a thing I was supposed to play. None of my stuffs are playing. What the heck's going on here? Well, I have a super chat from Ray. I'll read. Gronk was a second-round pick. There we go. Gronk was a second-round pick. Kelsey a third-rounder. Mark Andrews a third. George Kittle a fifth. Haven't we learned our lesson drafting a tight end in the first? Trade back, take O-line. I'd rather them trade up and take a receiver than take Bowers because at least I'm getting like a stud receiver that I know is going to be good. Like, I find it hard to believe Marvin Harrison or Malik Neighbors won't be stars. I don't know if Bowers is going to be a star. It's risky. I'd rather trade up and get more of a sure thing. Steve wants Donovan Smith as a backup. I'm good with that. Swing tackle, he's better than Billy Turner. I mean, That's it. Ricky is apologizing to the chat because of his love of Jordan Travis turning into a Gary versus Ricky discourse. I love it. Ricky, you don't have to apologize. Gary's just nuts. We love him, but he's nuts. So Ron the man says we need to protect Bruce Hall. Absolutely. Absolutely. Jets Forever has entered the building. Hello, Jets Forever. Just kidding. We'll see you later. Farewell. What does the Shadow Realm smell like these days? Has the scent changed at all?
Into the Shadow Realm you go.
I don't really look too much into like who we're going after and all of this stuff, but as long as like we're not getting no Jets guys, like I'm good. Let's get this thing done.
What you saying, huh? That's what I'm talking about.
Farewell, Jets Forever. Farewell. More of your calls right now. Dano is up next. Hello, Dano.
Was that an unintentional truffle shuffle by what's his name there, Dawkins?
He is a big boy.
So even I am not dead set on what I want to do, but I mean I still have 5 weeks. I reserve the right to change my mind, but I'm just trying to think of like strategy and the the best path to do it. Basically, what I'm getting at is you got one really good pick, and it's the deepest draft for O-line and receiver. So why would you spend your one premium pick on one of those instead of like why use your biggest investment on the thing that the draft is deepest at? Does that?
Yeah, that's why I'm pro trade back if you can and tap into the strength of the draft. You know?
And I think Joe will think like that too. Like I just can't see. I mean, unless you have one guy that you are all right, it's worth it. I don't even care about the strategy. That makes sense. But
it might be one of the receivers, but I don't think it's going to be Bowers personally.
I don't either. I don't because I mean, think about it. We're trying to get over the hump. You're really going to put that one last piece into something that may bust. Like, give me the guy with the highest floor. We don't need the guy with the highest ceiling. Does that make sense?
You want to try and get the best player, but you also don't want to take huge risks. I think you want to get it right. Like, take the best player with the highest floor, I think is how you want to word it. Right? And that to me is why I'm pro receiver over tight end, but more importantly, I'm pro offensive line over both positions.
And if we stick and pick, he's going to have one pick out of the next 100. Like, I just can't see him letting that sit with him. Like, there is no way. Even if it, like I said, even if it means taking less, whatever you got to do to find a suitor. I mean, I'm not saying, like last night I heard someone say drop to 24 and take a tackle still. There ain't going to be any of those guys at 24. There is not. But, you drop his... My outer limit is Cincinnati. But I'd really like to go to the Raiders spot or to the Colts. And I think, honestly, Mims. Give me Mims. Buffalo sold me on him last night. But also looking into him, he's got the best lateral movement out of all of them. And he's the best at matching the stunting pass rushers, which that's something we had trouble with. But, hey, thanks for letting me vent.
Tyron Smith, and he gets to learn from Morgan Moses, which should help too.
And he can take time. Yeah, right. But... when we signed Smith, I said it like from the jump. I'm like, if we get Smith or Bakhtiari, they're each worth 0.5 tackles. So like, either get them both or just round down and pretend Smith ain't even here. Because I mean, short of bubble wrapping him until after the bye, I don't know how else we get him for the playoff run.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's never missed a playoff game, so I think that's big. He's always been healthy for the playoffs. Look, you don't want to trade down just for the sake of making a trade down because you could be passing up on a great player. But if you have similar grades on a couple of these guys and you could get an extra top 100 pick, you're no longer as desperate as you once were, you could do that. Like if Cincinnati wanted to come up to take Olu Fashanu because they need a left tackle, great. The Jets could be a little more patient. They could move back and still get a lineman. Take a guy that might not be a plug-and-play left tackle right away, but eventually could be that. There's value in that. Cincinnati still needs an offensive lineman. Maybe they want to come up and get Fashanu. Because the way I see the draft playing out right now, I think the Jets are going to be on the board at 10, assuming they don't trade, and there's going to be only one offensive lineman that actually is taken in the first 9 picks. That's how I see it. I think we're going to see 4 quarterbacks go 1, 2, 3, and 4. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. goes 5, Neighbors goes 6, Alt goes 7, 8 and 9. I don't right now see a lineman going there. Now, there could be trade-ups, which I can't factor in right now because it's impossible to do that on March 21st. Hell, it's impossible to do that an hour before the draft because you just don't know what happens when teams are on the clock. But let's say Atlanta takes defensive player at 8. Chicago takes receiver, so it'd probably be a Dunze in this mock I'm doing. Or they take a defensive player, which is possible, talking to someone in Chicago earlier. Okay. Now the Jets are on the clock at 10. Fashanu's now there. And we're going to kill Joe Douglas if he takes him? No way. All I heard from Jet fans is, we can't beat the Commanders. We can't stick it to Belichick because we're not going to get the tackle we want. Well, one of those tackles that you all were fawning over, Alan Avatel rubbing his nipples over, might actually end up being there. And now we're going to be upset if they can't take him. Or if they take the lineman. Oh, how could you do it? Trade back. No, well, what if the Jets think he's the second best lineman in the class and they love him? And he's their next plug-and-play DeBrickashaw Ferguson for 10 years. Because they have Tyron Smith and Morgan Moses on a 1-year deal, they're not going to take that player? Of course not. So you have options. I think that's what's exciting. But I heard, you can't win these games down the stretch. Now there's going to be so many good players available for the Jets at 10. It's why I don't worry about winning too many games late. When you knew this regime was coming back, I don't want Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson and Quinnen Williams and Jermaine Johnson. I don't want them to get used to losing. I want to establish a winning culture. I want to win games. Beating Bill Belichick and ending that streak is valuable. Oh, the Jets are now picking 10. Great. They're going to be sitting there on the clock with maybe one of the big 3 receivers still there. One of the quote-unquote top 2 tackles, but as we know, it's way deeper than just 2. Fuaga is now Daniel Jeremiah's number 1 rated tackle. He's probably going to be there. And if he's not, maybe Joe Alt, everyone's darling, will be. Or Fashanu, everyone's other darling, will be. So, it drove me nuts. We got to lose. That was such horse bleep, and you all know it. All you people rooting for the Jets to lose. Because now they're going to be sitting here in a spot where they're going to be able to get a great player at 10 if they want one. Or maybe they can move back and flip it and get picks. Do any mock you want. If there's 2 offensive linemen that go in the top 10, okay, fine. That might mean Adunze's there. Fuaga could be there. Troy Fontanu could be there. Or Fontanu, however you say this guy's name, no one seems to know. They're in a good spot. Bowers could be there. And I don't mean to pick on just Allen here, but Joe Alt, tank the season. We literally had a Gator bit about it. But Allen wasn't alone. There were so many Jet fans saying, lose out. And look where they are right now. They're in a great spot. We can't control it anyway. I'm not rooting against my team to lose. The only time I rooted for the Jets to lose was when Gase was the coach in 2020 because everyone was getting fired. There was no point in winning games. Once they started 0-5 that year and the season was over, there was nothing to look forward to other than maybe getting Trevor Lawrence, which, by the way, as we've seen, while he is good and clearly would be a franchise quarterback, I don't know if Trevor Lawrence is ever going to be a Super Bowl caliber quarterback. Time will tell. I think he's in that second tier of guys. And with Lawrence, you would never be bad enough to get the next quarterback, but are you ever good enough to win the whole thing? I don't know. He's certainly not generational. So you just never know is my point. You really don't. But I loved every second of sticking it to Belichick, and that won't change. His smug ass.
Money, 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 money.
Super chat coming in from Altoona Sandwich. Jets need to trade up for Bo Callahan. I don't know, man. Not a lot of people went to his birthday party. Got to be wary of that. Pittsburgh Mike. Trevor Lawrence on the cusp of being mid. He's okay. He's solid. He's won a playoff game. We can't take that away from him. But I don't know if he's ever going to be a top 5 quarterback. I don't know. Big fella says you play to win. Rooting for your team to lose is a joke. Especially when it's the Patriots, man. Why are we letting Belichick get one last win over the Jets? F that. End the streak. Go in the next year without having that hanging over you when you play New England. Because those need to be 2 wins against the Pats next year. And if the Jets had lost that last game of the regular season, they now go in the next year facing New England, a team that's not any good, and the Jets are going to be thinking, man, are we cursed? Are we ever going to beat this team? When they clearly should beat this team. And next year they go in, they don't have to answer questions about that streak. They can focus on beating the crap out of the Patriots twice and moving forward. I think the Jets, if they're going to win the AFC East, have to go 4-2 in the division. 4 of those wins that you're going to get in your division, 2 of them should be against New England. And I think you'd sign for a split with Miami and Buffalo. That's what you're looking to do. Let's see. Jay says Trevor Lawrence is no Stroud. He's not. The best quarterback in that division is now Stroud for the foreseeable future. Dano says, can we get a fundraiser going for me to streak during the Asman Meetup 2.0? I just need some rent money and then a bailout. Well, if you wait for the Super Bowl, Dano, you could put a bet on it. There'll be a streaker on the field, and then you can make all the money back and then some. Forever Ron says, just win, baby. Amen. Amen. Altoona says Vontae Mack no matter what. I actually did. So I haven't put this out there yet. I'll just share it with you guys because I try to keep it real. So there is a rumor the Jets are adding to their front office. They're hiring Jennifer Gardner as assistant GM for her tremendous work with the Cleveland Browns in 2015. Or when did draft day come out? Was that 2014? Open phone lines. Last chance to get in before we wrap up our program here. Make sure if you're tuned in live right now, you hit that like button. And make sure if you're tuned in after the fact, you're still liking every video. That helps the channel continue to grow. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're having a monster month because of what the Jets have done. All you Jet fans are incredible, tuning in every day, so I truly appreciate it. We are nearing now 37,000 subscribers, a couple hundred away from that. Feels like we just hit 36, and we celebrated with the Rich Eisen interview, so we're close. Altoona says 2014. Yeah, okay, so 2014 was when draft day came out. Gator says draft day underrated film. I think it's properly rated. I think it's fine. Like, if you're a sports fan, a football fan, you're entertained. Pittsburgh Mike says, your thoughts on how the Jets will benefit from not being hyped and on Hard Knocks this year? I think they're going to be hyped. I don't know if there's a true benefit to no Hard Knocks. Like, it can't hurt. But I don't think Hard Knocks was that detrimental to their season last year. Like, they started 4-3, and then the season fell apart. It's not like they started 1-7 and then won some games late and finished 7-10. You know, they won opening night after all the hype surrounding them with Hard Knocks, and they were down 10 at halftime after they lost their franchise quarterback on the 4th play of the year. So I think the Hard Knock stuff is a little overrated, Mike. I don't know if it truly matters. Personally, I wish they were on Hard Knocks again. I loved it. I'll probably rewatch Hard Knocks before training camp opens this summer. And as is Jake Asman tradition, I always would rewatch the 2010 Hard Knocks with the Jets. Brian says, have you had Mike Greenberg on yet? Yes, Mike Greenberg was a guest last April, right after Aaron Rodgers' press conference. So you can check it out if you want to watch it back. We'll get Greeny on again soon. We're going international right now. Craig's up next. Hello, Craig.
Mate, how are you?
Craig, the dinner has been set. The attendees have been notified. It's all happening.
New York will never be the same again. It's just going to be next level. We're excited. My wife is excited. It's going to be crazy. I'm excited about the off season, but I think I'm like everyone else. I'm just exercising caution, man. If all we need at this point, and this is before we've had the draft and whoever else we might get there, we just need Rodgers, man, to stay healthy. That's all we need. But even then, we've got a real backup. You know, we've got a professional, legitimate backup. So this has got to be it. We had to have last year because we're the Jets. It had to happen to us. You know what I mean? Something as horrific and evil as what happened. So no, I'm super confident. I'm just trying to figure out how we're going to get back a second time this year to get to one of these games. I'm not really sure how we're going to do it, but there'll be a way. It'll happen. It'll happen. But you feeling confident? You good?
I feel a lot better than we felt. The first 2 months of this offseason, there's no doubt. But my big thing was, like, yes, last season was a disaster. But if you objectively look at why it was such a disaster, it's very easy to point out what happened, and it was very easy to figure out how they could fix it. It's not like previous Jet off seasons where they have needs everywhere. They had very specific needs at backup quarterback, 3 offensive linemen, number 2 receiver, and they had the resources to do it. So I was never like sitting here saying it would be impossible for us to feel optimistic again. I just didn't think it would come this quickly because I figured we'd need the draft to really solidify the offseason. But now they enter the draft really not having an obvious need. They have options.
Worst thing about last season with Rodgers going down was nothing was done about it at the time. And we're all talking about it in real time. Got to get a backup, got to get this, got to get that. That was the worst thing about that. But I think Joe's redeemed himself. Maybe he got a sandwich. I don't know what happened, but maybe we need to send him a breakfast sandwich. But as a thank you. But he's done good. And I remember I'm hearing all the talk. Don't let him leave the building, Mike Williams. Well, we didn't. He didn't leave the building. He didn't go and have his other meetings. We got him. So it's it's awesome. But looking forward to it. And a reminder to everyone watching: we are going to organise the Yankees Thursday, the 9th of May. At night. It's going to be organised and it's going to go out on the Discord. Lee Van and I are going to organise tickets and stuff. So join Patreon, people. Don't make me keep coming on here and saying it. Join Patreon, get on the Discord. We can talk. And you can get in on Yankee Stadium on the 9th of May. So we're within like 7 weeks, man. And I'm so excited. Texas first, barbecue, live music. It's going to be epic. It's going to be amazing. So you're a legend, mate. Keep up the good work.
Craig, you're the man. I can't wait to see you. And do you hear that, Craig? Do you hear that music?
I'm listening.
That's Joe Douglas music. He's back, baby. In Joe we trust. Please nail the draft now and happiness for all. 1 week from today, I'll be watching the New York Yankees in person here in Houston. My last day in Houston. Ray Danger super chats us. Do you think any defensive players go in the top 9? I think Atlanta at 8 and Chicago at 9 are 2 teams that could go defense. Those are the teams I look at. Johnny says, have you watched X-Men 97? The X-Men are Jet fans. I haven't, but I heard about this. I heard great things. I definitely want to watch that. I haven't watched it yet, though. I'm so behind on TV. I still haven't watched the most recent Curb episode, so I got to get caught up on that. And now with the NCAA tournament starting, and me moving soon. Forget it. But we'll get there eventually. Weege writes in, this is really helpful an hour into the stream, but just letting you know there's no thumbnail on the stream. There's no thumbnail on the stream? Why didn't anyone tell me? Thank you, Weege. My bad. I had a thumbnail. I guess it never uploaded. Now, there's a thumbnail on the stream. Weege, I don't think there was a thumbnail for you, but there's a thumbnail on the stream. Weege, I think the thumbnail thing is an issue, not an ish me. I appreciate you looking after me. Back to your calls. Devin up next on our show. What's up, Devin?
What's up, Jake? Man, I appreciate you, bro. I just gotta come on. I just want to come on here. You know, I'm really on here because Elizabeth told me she wanted to go on the Jake Asman show.
Oh.
However, she's been on the tablet, and I told her, Elizabeth, I'm on now. All right. She really, my daughter loves you, bro. Like, she know I listen to you. I listen to you literally every day when I'm coming home from work. But I want to come on here because I really love JD, man. Like, I'm just, as a Jet fan, bro. I've been a Jet fan since 1995, bro. I was in the Navy. I was in a Jet fan, and I love the Jets, bro. And I've never had this level of excitement back-to-back years. I know. We all know what happened last year, right? But just to think, like, where were we going? We weren't thinking just like we have a shot to make the playoffs. No, we have a shot to win a Super Bowl, and I love that feeling. And I want to thank JD for that feeling because despite his shortcomings, which there were many, and we have documented them really well. But like, come on, man, I need this guy to stay, and I have mixed emotions about it because I understand the whole Salah perspective as well. Like, if Salah doesn't do well, if he doesn't do what he needs to do this year, then you know what? Give JD another shot at hiring another coach. You know what? We get Vrabel, and it'll be all right. We'll be all right, and I'm with that. But I want to keep JD, man. Like, JD. Oh, look who's here, Jake. Look who's here, showing up with the tablet.
Hey,
look who it is.
What's up, Elizabeth?
Come here, Jake wants to say hi. I have the headphones on, so he's not gonna be able to hear you. Now she's being bashful. Jake says hello. I'm gonna put it on the TV. She can see herself. She's right here with her headphones on. Say hi.
Hello, I heard her.
Yeah, dude. But yeah, you know what? I'm gonna tell you this too. This is the other thing that was really I wanted to point out. So the other day, right? Every morning I'm going to work. I'm listening to Boy Green. So Boy Green wasn't on the other day. I was like, all right, I guess I'm gonna go back. I hate going to ESPN. And Canty was on, and dude, just like how people just like to push stuff on the Jets that's false, these false narratives, and just here she goes. You gotta put this in. She's still not ready. Anyhow, she's a diva, bro. I got a diva, which is cool. It's all good. This goes in this ear. All right, then you can hear what I'm telling Jake. All right, you care? Put it in. Let me out. She's 7, bro. I love my daughter. She actually so anyhow, so Canty's on there and he's talking about, all of this crap about us. And I'm like, I don't even want to repeat it. I'm like, man, this is why I don't listen to ESPN no more. This is why I love your show. This is why I appreciate Boy Green. This is why I appreciate all of you Jet YouTubers that keep my content real. Because you hold our Jets accountable. You hold people accountable. And I appreciate that, man. But you need help. All right, you want to say hi, Jake? Just hold it in your ear. So let's go on our Jet chant. By the way, one more thing. And I know I'm taking a lot of time, so I'm sorry. But like, I'm really hoping that we get I'm really hoping that we get that Black Friday game this year. Because I think some things might be happening. Oh no, what did I do?
What happened?
Oh no, there we go. Oh my gosh.
You're good.
User error, bro. So but I'm really hoping for that. You say hi?
Hi.
What's going on here?
Give us a JETS Jets chant.
Jake is asking for a JETS Jets.
JETS Jets.
Yeah. Thanks, Jake.
Devin, you're the man. Appreciate you. Look, I understand your excitement, right? It's like you want to win the Super Bowl. It's impossible to win one without a quarterback. You have Aaron Rodgers. Even off the injury, he still gives his team the best quarterback situation they've had since Chad, right? So I totally get it. And also, Devin, I didn't realize you were in the Navy, so thank you for your service. But there is excitement. Yeah, the Jets are doing it to us again. Hopefully, hopefully the Super Bowl DVD starts with Rodgers' injury this upcoming year. Because then it was all worth it. All the crap we've been through if they could win a championship somehow. Even getting to a Super Bowl is a major accomplishment for a franchise that hasn't been back since they won their only title. But I love it. Yeah, it's funny. Chris Canty is a former Giant. He hates the Jets. And I met him last week, and he's such a nice guy. I was at an event with him. But it is what it is. That's what I love about the Jet YouTube space, though. Like, you could really get in depth and give nuanced takes. And, like, the Jet YouTubers, they're not fanboys, man. Like, we kill this team. We rip them. We're also going to defend them when there's BS out there that's just not true or there's a clear bias. We're like we try to call it how it is. We try to lean positive when you can. Like, I'd much rather be positive than negative, but I'm also not going to sit here and defend the organization that hasn't made the playoffs since 2010. I'm just going to be honest. That's all you really could do. But believe me, the success of the Jets is good for business. Like, I hate when we have to do shows and we're screaming and yelling, fire this person, this guy sucks, this guy's an idiot, sell the team. I hate those shows. The better the Jets do, the more views I get, the more people are happy. It's just better. Gator says, who would you say are the top contenders for Hard Knocks this year? Off the top of my head, I don't know, just because I don't know the teams that could be forced to do it. Now, remember, the Jets only did Hard Knocks last year because HBO forced them to, because they were able to. If you have a first-year head coach, you don't have to do it. If you've done the show within the last 10 years, you don't have to do it. If you've made the playoffs within the last 3 years, you don't have to do it. So honestly, off the top of my head, I think the Chicago Bears would be the most intriguing team that could be forced to do it. Caleb Williams, historic franchise. I could see the Bears being forced into it. So that's the one team that I thought of at the top of my head. Bonesy says we just need to get in the tournament, then anything can happen. Anything can happen. Gator says can't be a rookie coach. If you're a first-year head coach, you can't be forced into Hard Knocks. Atlanta's got a first-year head coach. He's been a head coach before, but he's in his first year with that team. That's why it's first-year head coach, not first time. Robert says it looks like the Broncos on Hard Knocks, especially because of Peyton. Denver is another team, you're right, that could be forced into Hard Knocks. Peyton's in his second year. They haven't made the playoffs since 2015. They've never done the show. Hard Knocks is probably Broncos because of Peyton or Bears because of Caleb Williams. Chiefs can't be forced to do it. If you've made the playoffs within the last couple of years, you can't be forced to do it. The Chiefs have won 2 straight Super Bowls in 3 of the last 5. Saints could be forced to do it. Yep. Panthers can't. They got a first-year coach. Patriots can't. They got a first-year coach. Once again, it has to be teams that haven't made the playoffs in a couple of years that don't have a first-year head coach and haven't done the show within the last 10 years. Weed says Peyton could talk about them winning the offseason on Hard Knocks. That's a great point. Sean Payton, who ripped the Jets for doing Hard Knocks, which the Jets themselves didn't even want to do it. That'd be great. Oh, I'd love that. Giants could be doing Hard Knocks too. Yeah, Bobby Midnight noticed that. Big fella, Allen. Well, actually, the Giants made the playoffs in 2022. They can't be forced into it. I think if you made the playoffs someone look it up because I'm on right now. If you made the playoffs in the last 2 or 3 years, is the Hard Knock qualification to not be forced on. Chargers can't do it. They got a first-year coach. Now, let's make it clear. HBO would prefer to take a team that volunteers to do it, that wants to do it. What I'm telling you is these are the teams that can't say no if HBO forces them on. That's why the Jets were the Hard Knocks team. Why wouldn't HBO force them on? The Jets were the team of the offseason a year ago. Dan, the Jet fan, brings up the Colts. Yeah, the Colts definitely could do it. Absolutely. Shane Steichen's in year 2. They haven't made the playoffs. Bengals, they were just in the Super Bowl. I don't think they're eligible. I mean, there's a couple. I think Sean Payton in Denver and Caleb Williams and the Bears are the 2 most intriguing possible teams. Super chat from Derek. He writes in, Jake, this will be the first time in a long time Jets players will be high on the fantasy ranking board. Yeah, I mean, Breece Hall is a first-round pick in fantasy. Garrett Wilson's a high second-round pick. You're right. You're not wrong. Cactus Johnny says draft day is a blatant ripoff of Moneyball. Not even close. First off, you can't trade draft picks in MLB. And Moneyball is all about the A's 2002 season. Draft day is just about the 2014 draft. Not even close. Now, the only similarities are you have 2, Academy Award-winning actors starring in the film, and Costner and Brad Pitt. But that's about it. Dane says, crazy how literally most teams have actually made the playoffs the last 3 years, and we haven't in 13. Don't remind me, Dan. Don't remind me. Oh, the pain, as my friend Joe B would say. Oh, the pain. The pain. It never ends. Hopefully this year it does, though, Jet fans. Before we get out of here, Huga House is on board as one of our partners now on the channel. If you want a vintage-inspired hat, head over to Huga House, Huega house.com, and use promo code Asman at checkout so you could get 15% off. Get the hat that Aaron Rodgers wears. I wear it too, but he's more special. HugaHouse.com, promo code Asman at checkout for 15% off. Appreciate everyone who's tuned in to today's program. This show was a lot of fun. Calls were excellent today. Like the video before we get out of here. Tomorrow on the show, we got 2 great guests coming on. The return of Cole Thompson to do a Jets mock draft live on the show for the first time since all the free agent signings. We're having Cole on. What will they do at 10? What does Cole think they should do at 10? Trade up, trade back. Brock Bowers, receiver, tight end. Who knows? Cole Thompson joins us tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. And then Gunny from NYJ Situation Report scheduled to come on at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I am looking forward to that. Once again, Jet fans, thank you for your support. Please consider subscribing to the channel. It's free and easy. That helps us grow. Liking the video helps us grow, and you're more likely to get a free channel membership gifted to you when someone decides to make it rain in the future. I will talk to you guys soon. JETS, Jets. Enjoy the NCAA tournament, and make sure you get in the Discord because a lot of us are posting our gambling picks in there. So if you're betting on March Madness, join the Patreon and get in that Discord. I'll talk to you guys soon.
People in the chat are asking, where's Ryan and where's Jet Central? Ryan couldn't make it.
Isn't Ryan on hold, Richie?
Ryan's on hold. Oh. Wait,
is he here?
Wait.
Bring him on and start over. Hey, look.
Wait.
He's been here.
You guys didn't invite me to this fucking thing. What the fuck's going on? How come you didn't invite me to this fucking thing? All of a sudden, like, I come on the YouTubes and I see all this grin. It looks like Shrek took a shit. Shouldn't that guy be in jail? And did you see what that guy did with Melania?
Into the Taekwondo! You gosh darn go! I changed my profile pic to a Patriots logo as a joke, and now Twitter is not allowing me to change my profile pic back. So it appears I.
Oh gosh.
Be in jail. That's great.
What the heck was that? I did not expect that. All of a sudden, Jake's like, "There's someone backstage." And
that was awesome.
Did you send Gator the link, Jake? I'm so confused.
I can't comment publicly on what transpired.
Of course.
That completely caught me off guard. I did not expect that. Or that was fun.
That was good.
Oh, that was great. All right, well, that was Ryan. Jets Talk 24/7.
The Jets are gonna come back! No, they're not! They're never